So, yes, the oil spill is dangerous. The oil spill is serious. It's economically destructive, and it's more destructive. You know, there's a big ABC News headline last night, and it's all over the news, that the Coast Guard pulled up to private fishermen in their own boats, scooping up the oil under the direction of the local counties and taking it to oil tanks. And the government pulled up, the Coast Guard pulled up and said, you got to have special permits for you've got to be Coast Guard registered to be out here. Doesn't matter if you've got life preservers. It doesn't matter. We've got to have the history of these ships. They've got to be certified by us. This is big city machine, union politics, union tyranny, mafia tyranny. You know, the feds are the big union bosses for the big banks. You don't wipe your nose. You don't wipe your hind end. You don't sneeze. You don't plant a tree. You don't build a barn. You don't have a school. You don't have a gas station. You don't have a store without jumping through 100 hoops. We're here to shut things down, and everything goes through us. We're here to shake your grocery store down. Anything you see the mafia do in the last 100 years, that's government. It is a mafia government. I was reading this morning. I mean, I already knew it. But George Soros owns a large portion of the big state-run, because it's got all these private kingpins that are part of it, but it's state-run in Brazil. Brazil's drilling all over the Gulf. They had a big spill 3 years ago off the coast of Mexico, much bigger than what you see now. Not in the news. See, George Soros, who controls the Obama White House, whose minions were the head of the transition team, this is all over the news today. Thank God it's actually being pointed out. They control America. So, see, if they can shut off America drilling, well, then Al Gore, who owns Occidental Petroleum, based in South America, he's able to drill. George Soros, owning big oil companies, he's able to drill. You understand that the Dutch are able to drill. It's only America that can't have those jobs. Well, it's the same thing. It's about the religion of worshiping government and licking boots. And before you can do anything, you've got to have a home inspection or a CPS inspection. So the Coast Guard pulls up and says, look, you're not going to clean any stinking oil up. We got orders from Obama. We got a carbon tax to pass. We got some taxes for you. They're going to be paid to BP that owns one of the big carbon trading companies. So, we're going to be taking your phone calls throughout the broadcast on this Open Line Friday. But I would ask listeners, you can go into whatever topic you want, but first give me your take on what is this oil spill distracting us from? I mean, the media is hyping it. They've ignored all these other oil spills, many of which have been bigger than this one. Yes, if you go and look at the biggest oil spills in history, this is only in the top 5 now. It's got a long way to go. It is horrible. But there's another level of deception. It is true that for more than 50 days, I have seen local news articles with BP thugs, the Coast Guard, the local police under their orders, completely outside their jurisdiction. I mean, the feds can't come on the beaches over a 3-state area and say you can't be here. And private security guards can't do it. And say no videotaping. And I'm getting calls. I'm getting hundreds of emails. I'm hearing it all over talk radio that in Louisiana, in Mississippi, in areas of Florida, that people walk outside even 5 miles from the beach and all they smell is kerosene, oil slick smell, that people are getting sick. And so I would like to hear your eyewitness testimony specifically. Have you been told by the military and police and BP goons to get off the beach? Are you getting sick? Are people you know getting sick? Toll-free number 1-800-259-9231. And I will intersperse news throughout the broadcast today. 1-800-259-9231. Because, yes, this is a tragedy and a disaster, just like 9/11 was. But separately, we have to look at what's happening while we're diverted, while we're watching the magician's lovely assistant, who's wearing a bikini. He's doing the sleight of hand and getting his next trick ready. So, daily presidential tracking poll, Rasmussen, he's now down to 41%. Under the carbon tax, Harvard study says $7 a gallon gas. Oh, yeah, Carrie Lieberman's new bill is unbelievable, folks. Obama plans to sneak through carbon tax by stealth. Kerry Lieberman not worried cap and trade bill will hurt Democrats. This out of Cyber News Service, and they gave a press conference yesterday. Hayward, the CEO of BP, estimates, get ready for this, that the reservoir that they've tapped has 2 billion gallons of oil in it. That could be conservative, by the way, or it could be less. But normally a gusher this size, they're saying 2 billion gallons. 2 billion gallons that could be drained into the Gulf of Mexico to then be sucked out into the Atlantic. Amazing. Continuing. BP oil spill against Governor Jindal's wishes. Well, I mean, the feds claim they control the seashores. Well, yeah, international commerce coming in, that is a federal prerogative. But what business does the Coast Guard have following Barry Sitaro, the Indonesian citizen's orders, to block people just a few hundred yards offshore or even in estuaries? They're coming into estuaries. This is not new news. It's just happening again. This Coast Guard is besmirching its history, its record, everything. This is disgusting. Those men should not follow those orders. This is treason, just like Germans shouldn't have followed Hitler's orders. If something's an unlawful or immoral order, it's illegal. Do you understand that? At one time, that was taught to the military. BP oil spill, but that was before the dark time, before the end of the Republic. BP oil spill against Governor Jindal's wishes, crude sucking barges stopped by Coast Guard. And it happens over and over again. There have been state vessels out there under state command trying just to 50 yards offshore, right there where the rivers come in, trying to protect those estuaries where a lot of the fishing gets done. And they came in day one and said, oh, we want you to count the booms now. And now the White House says, don't worry, though, Obama's dispatching some more Harvard lawyers. Oh, and a Nobel Prize winner's been down there for 50-plus days. A Nobel Prize winner. What does that mean, that they're a communist who hates America? I mean, literally, a Nobel Prize is like being caught involved in child molestation now. Having a Nobel Prize, giving it to all these globalists, all these anti-American New World Order people, Henry Kissinger, Al Gore, it's like getting syphilis or something. It's like, oh my gosh, someone with syphilis is down at the Gulf. Oh, yay! Someone with syphilis is being dispatched to the Gulf. Hey, did you hear they're sending a child molester to the Gulf? Wow, man, great. All our problems are solved. I'm sorry, I'm going to blitzkrieg through some more news, headlines when we come back and then go to your calls. 1-800-259-9231. But it's all about how the government, don't worry, we've got some more Harvard scam artists. We've got some more Princeton people. They're the smart guys that set up the derivatives and are scamming everyone. Don't worry, they're like gods up on Mount Olympus. They've been sent down there. Everything's going to be solved right away. Huh?
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
I'm 100% committed to read these headlines. Look at this. Greenspan says U.S. may soon reach borrowing limit. Bloomberg will be bankrupt like Nigeria and Argentina. That mission complete. They've almost bankrupted us completely to them. And, of course, they get the whole world out of fiat, Ponzi scheme, Ken Lay, fraud. Remember, it was Ken Lay who came up with BP 15 years ago in 1995 on record. This is Wall Street Journal, AP. It was BP and Goldman Sachs, but under the leadership of Ken Lay and Enron, with Albert Gore. Albert Gore, meetings with him over and over again, and Harry Clinton, who are giving you the carbon tax. You will pay money to BP, to Al Gore, to Goldman Sachs, who, of course, owns BP. That now has come out. It's always Goldman Sachs, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter what third world country it is. It doesn't matter. You'll see some African country where they just had an election stolen, and you go look it up. It's the former head of the World Bank as the new African president of the country. I mean, it just never ends. They run the snuff films. They run the child kidnapping. They run the slave labor operations. That's in Senate hearings, congressional hearings. They run everything. And they're going to take your farm and your ranch, and they're going to take your property, and they've turned the public schools into prisons, and they're turning your kids against you right now, and the sky's the limit, and they got all the psych warfare chiefs, and of course they blew that oil well, and of course they're blocking the recovery and the emergency mitigation programs, and of course they're blocking people from sucking up the oil, and they're not going to stop because the sky's the limit. As Thomas Jefferson said, the limit of tyranny you will live under is the exact level you put up with. But before I go any further, we do, look, I've got to have a money bomb in the next few months to finish the studio. I've got to go shoot a tour of the studio and show you what we built. City held us up 6 months just getting permits, but all that happened. And a lot of other things went on, but we got it done. Now we're trying to buy the equipment, build the studio, decide the set, the green screen room, all of it.